We're going to be taking a break from the disc brakes, and we're going to be working on these engine covers. I had someone who was interested in how to make an engine and more of the interior parts. So we're going to take a little break and we're going to work on this, and we may come back to this probably. We can still make the caliper for this, and there's some more details in here that we can work on. But for now we're going to work on this engine cover, and later we'll start the rest of the engine, or at least the visible parts of the engine. So we're going to go back to our Blender file, we're going to go to a new layer, and we're going to create a cube. So go to the Create tab and create a cube. We're going to press tab to go into edit mode and scale this down a bit on the Z axis with S and then Z. Then we're going to scale it on the Y axis with S and Y and scale this out a bit. We're going to press 7 to go to top view. And one thing with this is it actually has this little kick at the end, so it goes out, it curves out, and then it kind of kicks out a bit and finishes off in a relatively straight line. And also here it kind of curves in a bit. I think it curves a little bit less than this, but it does curve in a bit. So from top view, we want to go to vertex select, select this vertex, Z for wireframe, B to box select, get both of these. I'm going to change this to median point real quick and then just pull this in some. And I also want to do A twice and scale this on the X axis a bit just to make it a little bit wider. Then we're going to select one of these front vertices, B to box select, get the rest, E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring these out some. Then we want to select these on the right side, select one, B to box select, get the other, and bring it out so we get that outward kick like this. Then we're going to select all the vertices on the top, E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring this out some. So that's going to be good for now. I'm going to do A twice and scale it on the X axis again just to make it a bit wider on mine. One of the things with this is the top of it actually tapers off, so the bottom's a little bit wider than the top. So what we want to do is select these top faces. So go to face select, select the top faces, and we're just going to do a small inset, so just do I to inset, and that's going to be fine for that. Go back to vertex select and alt right click on this, and then just do delete and dissolve edges. That'll just give us a nice little taper to all of the outside here. At this point I'm going to get rid of the bottom faces, so I'm going to go to face select and go to the bottom faces and select all three bottom faces. Choose delete and choose faces. Now we're going to go to edge select, press A to select everything. Alt and shift right click on these two edges to get rid of these two edge loops. Then we're going to do Control B, mouse wheel up once, and add a bevel to this. Just do a bevel similar to that, should be fine. And I'm actually going to do A twice, S and then Z to scale this up a bit so it's a bit taller. And if you want to, you can do S and then X to make it a little bit wider. Another thing I'm going to do is go to vertex select, go up here and select these vertices and just bring them out a little bit. So there's a little bit of a outward direction here. And I'm going to do Control R, left click, right click. And on this one, I'm also going to bring these out. So I'm going to select these and just bring them out slightly. Then I'm going to Alt right click and do Control B and do a bevel on this, trying to keep similar spacing here on these edges. Then you can tab into object mode, go to tools, and turn on smooth shading. Another thing we're going to need is a loop going down center here, but a little bit off center, so we're going to do Control R, left click, right click. I'm going to go down here, select this vertex, hold Control and right click. Then you can press Q to slide this over, and select this one, G twice, slide it over to make this a bit straighter. This is going to be that part for the hole. We're going to add more curvature to this back part as well, so we're just going to select this vertex, hold Control, and select this vertex. Bring it back slightly to add a bit of a curve, and then we're going to do Control B and make a bevel on this. Then we can take this vertex, hold shift, select this one, alt M at last. The next thing we're going to do is work on the front and this hole here. So we're going to select this vertex and hold control and select these here. So we have all these. Then we're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring these out. We also want to take this vertex and bring it in like this, in this direction. Finally, we're going to go to face select, and we're going to take these faces and get rid of them. So we're going to take these faces here, as well as these faces here, and then delete them. And go back to vertex select, and we're going to take all these vertices and press F to make a face there. Next, we're going to do Control 1 for back view. We're going to do K for the knife cut tool, left click on this vertex, C to make a straight line, left click on this edge, and then press enter. Then we're going to take this newly created vertex, select this one, and do J to join, or do F to make an edge here. We're going to do A twice and Control N to recalculate the normals. Then we're going to take these two vertices and bring them up slightly. We're going to do Control R, mouse wheel up once, left click, right click. Select these two, bring them up slightly. Then we're going to fill in this area. We're going to take these 4 and press F. Take these 3 and press F, and then take these 4 and press F. Now we're going to select this vertex. We're going to hold shift and select this one, J to join. We're going to select these two vertices and do Control Shift and B to do a vertex bevel. Then we're going to take these two and merge them together with Alt M at last, and then do the same here. You can do Shift R to repeat that, just merging these over. And we're going to do the same here, merge these over and merge these over. Now we're going to select this vertex, hold Control, and select this one to get this whole loop. We're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring this out some. You can also do S, Y, and then 0 to flatten it out on the Y axis if you want. And just give this some distance here. I may just want to bring this one back some just so it fits better with the model. I'm going to select this vertex, and I'm actually going to bring this one over a bit so that there's a bit of an angle here. There's supposed to be a bit of an angle in this direction. Then what I'm going to do is do K for the knife cut tool. We're going to left click here, then left click over here, and just continue all the way down. Actually, this is fine. Do enter. Then select these two and press J to join. That's just going to make a nice crease line here like we're supposed to have. We can also do the same on the top by doing K for the knife cut tool, left clicking here, then left clicking about here and going across, and probably ending here should be fine for now, so press enter. And this is just going to get us a nice crease line around the back. I'm going to select these two actually and do J to join those. Then what we can probably do is select this one, shift select this one, Alt M at last, and then just use G twice to slide some of these so that they're a bit closer. And for this one, we're going to select these two, J to join, and then G twice, and bring that a bit closer as well. So now we've got our little crease line here, which runs all the way across, and we've got the crease line here. If we wanted to, we could select these two and do Control B and try to round out that corner a bit more. Then you're going to have to merge some of these together, doing Alt M at last and trying to fix some of these, something like that. So that's going to be fine. Now we have a bit of a shading problem there, so I'm going to try selecting these two and joining those. And we're going to tab into edit mode, and we're going to change the direction of some of this topology here. So we're going to select these two and press J to join, and then these two, Alt M at last. And we're going to go to edge select, select this edge, delete, and dissolve edges. And that'll help a little with the shading. Next thing we want to do is Alt right click here, F to make a face, then do I, then B. and do a small inset here. This is just to give some thickness to this area. Then delete and choose faces to get rid of that. Next, what we want to do is go to vertex select. We're going to alt right click on the bottom. We're going to do Shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, F to make a face, Shift H to hide everything else. Then we're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, S to scale this out. Then we're going to do Control I to invert the selection. Then we're going to do I, then O to do an outset. And bring your mouse in a bit so that you can get a little bit of an outset here. Something like that should be fine. Then we can go to face select, alt right click here, delete and choose faces. We can also select this outer face, delete it and choose faces. Then select the interface and delete that as well. Now we can do alt H to unhide everything. We can do A twice, W, and then remove doubles. Then we want to go to vertex select. We're going to select this vertex. We want this one to join up with this one, so we're going to select these two, do Alt M at last, and then we can get rid of all these other faces here. So we can select these on the outside, and actually we're going to leave that one for now. We're just going to delete those faces. We're actually going to select this vertex and delete it. I think we're just going to bring this one back and snap it there, and we'll just leave it like that for now. That should be fine. Now we're going to tab into edit mode. We're going to alt right click, and we're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring this down some. We also want to bring these down too, so we're going to select these two, E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring them down, and snap them here by holding Control, and then select these two and press F. Now we want to go to object mode and turn on smooth shading. We're going to go back to edit mode and switch to face select. Alt right click here, deselect these two faces. Then we're going to do I to do an inset. We're going to switch back to vertex select. We're going to alt right click here and delete and dissolve edges to get rid of that one. We still want an edge loop going around here, so we're going to do Control R, left click, and bring this down. That will sharpen up the look on the inside. But we're going to have to go over here and do K for the knife cut tool, left click here, go across, left click again and press enter. Looks like we have some duplicate vertices here, so I think I'm going to have to merge some of these together. So it looks like I'm going to take this one and shift select this one, alt M at last, and merge that one in. We're going to have to do the knife cut tool over here too, so we're going to do K for the knife cut tool, left click, go across, left click again and press enter. I think I'm going to make this a little bit skinnier, so I'm going to alt right click on the bottom and just bring this up some so this is a little bit smaller here. Then we're going to go to face select, we're going to alt right click, we're going to do Shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, S and then Z to scale this on the Z axis. So now we have that outer rim that you're supposed to have. We're going to do P and we're going to choose selection to separate the selection. Tab into object mode, select this newly created object, go to the modifiers, add a modifier, choose solidify, and we're going to use this to give some thickness to this. So adjust the value so it's going outward. You want the thickness to be going in the outward direction. You can also do A and do Control N to see if that will fix anything. Doesn't look like it did anything. So just adjust this thickness to be relatively skinny. Then we're going to tab into edit mode. We're going to do I to inset this and do a small inset. Then we're going to tab into object mode and apply this modifier. Then with this selected, we're going to shift select this piece again and do Control J to join them together. This first one's complete, so we're going to add in a mirror modifier to get our second one. We're just going to go to top view by pressing 7. Tab into edit mode, A twice, and we're just going to bring this one over past the blue line or the green line. Go to add modifier and choose mirror, turn on clipping and turn on this option here, and then bring these a bit closer. At this point, if you feel yours are too wide, you can do S and then X to scale them on the X-axis. If it's too long, you can do S and then Y to scale it on the Y-axis. Just get it to the appropriate length and width. And then you also want to leave a little bit of space in the center for the centerpiece that we're going to be making. So we're going to press Tab to go to Object Mode, and we're going to create that centerpiece. We're just going to go to Create and choose Cube, Tab into Edit Mode, S to scale this down. You can go to Top View if you want, and scale it down until the cube is slightly smaller in terms of width as these two. Then you can do S and then Y and scale it out. It's not quite as long as these, so we're going to bring it to about there. Then we're going to go to Vertex Select, Z for wireframe, select one of these vertices, B to box select, and bring these forward. So that should be good for that. I also want to make this a little shorter, so I'm going to select these top vertices, make it a little bit shorter. And it needs to be just above the top of this part, so I'm going to do A twice. And bring it just above the top of this part here. Then in the front, these two actually need to be pulled back in this direction. So the part where you have the holes, this part needs to be pulled back in this direction. Then we're going to do Control R, mouse wheel up, left click, right click. Select these four and bring them forward some to add a little bit of curvature to the front of this. We can also go to Object Mode, go to Tools, and turn on Smooth Shading. Go back to Edit Mode, press A twice, go to Edge Select, Alt and Shift, right click, Alt and Shift, right click again. Then do Control B, mouse wheel up once, and add a bevel to this. And this is looking good. This looks pretty much the way we want it to. I think I'm going to move mine down slightly. And I think that's good. Maybe make it a little bit wider in my case by doing S and then X in edit mode. But overall, this is looking pretty good. I'm happy with everything I've got here, so we're just going to save it. We're going to go to File and Save. Thank you to our awesome Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter yourself, head on over to patreon.com/StephenBrooks. Thank you for your support.